defraud these people out of millions of dollars?
Right. That's good.
Did you defraud victims out of millions of dollars?
I text you the address. All right. I got you.
The word on the street is that this is actually a situation where it might have been, and let me be very, very careful with my words here because I'm actually a fan of Chauncey. I think that Chauncey was a great point guard. I think that life can happen to any of us. And so let me say the same thing that I say to everybody else is that it's innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. All right. I know that everybody wants to jump to conclusions. Everybody want to throw him under the bus. Everybody want to say something negative to him or negative about him. And I am going to have my assumptions and my commentary based off of what is happening. But I also want to say that we have to remember that you are not guilty in the court of public opinion, and it is innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. Now, with that being said, let me give you what my synopsis of this situation is. I think that NBA players go through lulls. They go through situations where they have tough periods and tough points in their life. All right. I think that they then endear themselves to people that they owe money to, like the mafia and stuff like that. And so they may do a situation where it's like, I'm going to do this for a little bit, or I'm going to do this for 1 year or 2 years or whatever, so on and so forth. And then the mafia is like, nah, you too much of an earner. You making too much money. We want you to continue. And so I think that a lot of times these players get caught up when they're younger. I don't even think this is a part of something that he did right now. I think that he's been on the up and up, taking care of his business on top of things. And there's no way in the world that you'll tell me that Chauncey Billups will fumble his coaching job with the Portland Trailblazers, and that is something that he's willing to put on the line. I don't believe that at all. I do believe a lot of these people get involved, and you have a whole lot of people that's pulling on you, that's in your ear. You get caught up on some money type stuff. Somebody say, hey, man, I can make this work for you. Next thing you know, you tied in with some people doing some stuff that you don't want to do, and you never could really get out, and it's always going to come back to haunt you. That's why I always say I am careful of who it is that I get involved with and whether or not I want to participate with certain people in my life. When I say I have to actually look at you as a decent person to do business with you, that a person with bad character, just because they are successful or just because they can get money, is not a person that I want to do business with. I'm not talking about your personal life. Nigga, I don't care if you smoke trees. I don't care what's happening in your domestic life with your chick. I don't care about any of that. I'm talking about your business reputation. Have you ever done anybody dirty? Have you ever been involved in some stuff that you ain't supposed to be in? Are you cool with, are you in the streets like that? How long have you been on the streets? Why? Because me being tied up with you could jam me up, and this shit could come back to haunt me. I'm up here doing a big deal 10 years from now. I'm trying to get a fucking deal with Netflix or something like that, trying to do my 20, 30, 40, 50 M's. And next thing you know, they pull some shit back in 2020 of when I was tied up with your ass. And now that's coming back to haunt me, and it's going to cost me 20, 30, 40, 50 million dollars. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying is I don't associate myself with people that's not doing what they're supposed to do from a business perspective, right? It just could cost me, it could cost me too much in my future. Real talk. Like everybody got their own personal life that they do. That ain't got nothing to do with me. But if you out here in these streets or you involved with some people that I think is a little bit more seedy, I can't, bro. I can't. I can't involve myself in it. Meanwhile, Kash Patel was on. Let me close that out. Kash Patel pulled up on Fox News to talk to well, he was speaking about Stephen A. Smith.
Here with me exclusively is FBI Director Kash Patel. He was also at that roundtable the president held this afternoon, which I couldn't stop watching. Director Patel, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We're going to get to this bust of this gambling ring in a moment, but Governor Pritzker and others are creating these apps and databases to track ICE agents. Is there any movement in the administration to pursue, prosecution or charges against individuals who are impeding law enforcement to that capacity?
Hey, Laura, it's great to be with you. And absolutely. And because of the power of President Trump and the team that he has built, not just in the public sector, the government sector, but the private sector, he and our Attorney General.
Wait. They had stuff from Lori Lightfoot on this? Jesus. Good God Almighty. Lord, look at this hellscape. That's who they should have cast. They should have cast her in Black Phone too. I know he was going to speak to her. And this situation, but good God, great balls of fire. Jesus Christ. To think that Chicago actually elected Lori Lightfoot to be mayor of Chicago is insane to me. I don't know why that is so insane to me. I don't know why that is so insane to me that they decided that Chicago genuinely said, I am going to vote for Lori Lightfoot. It is insane to me, bro. And then you got to play to your strengths. You know what I'm saying? So let's say, for example, you are like Lori Lightfoot and you thinning out your edges and you're stressed out and all of this is missing at the top. You can't be gay too. Good God. All right, let me see if I can find the part where he was supposedly talking about Antifa. Okay, here we go. This is what he was talking about.
Director, I want to turn to this massive mafia-linked NBA gambling ring. That was so out of pocket. Like, it surprised me today. You announced it today, 2 operations, Nothing But Net and Royal Flush, they were called. It almost kind of sounds like a movie script. So Miami Heat, their guard, Terry Rozier, and former player Damon Jones involved. Also, Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups, dozens of others arrested in connection with this. What do the American people need to know about this? And sports betting, poker, the mafia involved? What do we need to know?
It's simple. We follow the money. And look, while the NBA is a piece of this, they are just a piece of that. And what the American people should know is this FBI has no business in being the morality police. We are the police and the enforcement of the laws. If you break the law, we're coming for you, whether you play in the NBA, coach in the NBA. And these individuals got in bed with La Casa Nostra and 4 of the 5 major crime families in New York City to create gambling empires, to rob people of their money, to extort people, to commit acts of wire fraud, to rig games and poker games and basketball games just so they can make a few extra bucks. And then they had the protection of the mafia in New York around this country so that they could continue this scheme to fleece innocent victims of tens of millions of dollars. That's what the FBI and the American people need to understand, that we showcase today a nationwide takedown of over 30 individuals involved in this scheme. And we are doing it because they committed acts of illegality. It has nothing to do with legal gambling, and it has everything to do with those in positions of power in places like the NBA getting in bed with La Casa Nostra and committing acts of extortion, fraud, money laundering, and wire fraud, and so many other crimes. And this investigation, by the way, today, this massive takedown that the FBI led in multiple jurisdictions, coordinating arrests across dozens of cities, is just the start. This investigation is very much ongoing. And as I said at the news conference in New York today, if you didn't do anything wrong or illegal, there's nothing to worry about. And so when people start chirping at us that we're coming after them for sports betting and the like, they're sounding to start like Governor Pritzker, who's just looking for a pot shot on TV.
That was a shot at Stephen A. Smith specifically.
How long has this investigation been going on? Did an informant tip you off?
Well, I can't get into the nature of how we got onto this, but
answer is yes.
It's been going on for some time. As you can imagine, ferreting out a system where they literally had scanners at the poker tables, where they literally had professional athletes in the NBA walk off the court so their proposition bets could be met, is a coordinated scheme with La Casa Nostra and the individuals that we arrested today. And it's been going on for some time. And we are going to continue to work this investigation and those that have been arrested today to make sure that illegal gambling empires embedded with the La Casa Nostra are brought down, whether they're in the NBA or anywhere else.
Yeah, down the street. By the way, this was so wild. Stephen A. Smith, the sports commentator, suggested that this was revenge from the president for all the kind of left-wing activism of the NBA. Your response to that, 15 seconds.
I'm the FBI director. I decide which arrests to conduct and which not to conduct. That may be the single dumbest thing I've ever heard out of anyone in modern history, and I live most of my time in Washington, D.C. It's right up there with Adam Schiff. We arrest people for crimes.
That was dumb. I heard Stephen A. Smith say that dumbass shit, and I was like, what is wrong with him? Honestly, I know that Stephen A. Smith said that he had to do anesthesia or something like that because he had a double root canal or whatever. But Stephen A. Smith said one of the dumbest things that I've ever heard in my entire life. This dude said an ongoing multi-year investigation from a sports gambling ring that was run by the mafia, that's not even done being arrested on and dealt with, but that former and current NBA players as well as coaches participated in gambling schemes and gambling rings to conspire to rip people off. Stephen A. Smith said that's Trump's revenge. Of all of the things that I've seen said about Trump, and I'm talking about no kings rallies and everything, bro. People saying that he coming at the black people and all of this stuff. That has probably got to be the dumbest statement said by anybody with a major platform. Anybody with a major platform that thinks that Trump gives a flying F about I just couldn't believe that Stephen A. Smith said no dumb junk like that.